Chaos963, doing it to you in 3D. So groovy that I dig me. Coming to you live from the studio and in living color. Gonna do it like we always do it. Straight from the heart. Will come from the heart, hits the heart. I'm aiming for the heart. Got some information I know that'll help a person on out today, and so I'm here to give to you. Man, I'm shooting for this. I would like to have my presentation. So whereas I even before I come on, I see how the cats do, and they say, the presentation will start in 15 minutes, half hour, whatever the situation might be. And man, I'd be struggling to get in not too late, and So I'm apologetic about that because time is serious stuff. But what can I say? It is what it is. I'm gonna do what I can do and make that happen. Because it's all about the discipline, and so I got discipline. So I'm putting it out here today. Here 24 6:30, 7:30 Eastern time. We're gonna be cracking. Have a opportunity to share with you today about some truth. And what is truth? There's things that we can know as truth. There's ways to verify and prove it, and then other things we just have to take with faith. And so that's the way it is. But the things we can know, we need to know. And there's a lot of stuff that I'm making point on today that we got proof, man, and we still choose to believe a lie. I'm amazed with that. I'm amazed. I hear people arguing about stuff that has been proven, one way or the other, and they're on the wrong side of the argument, and so that's kind of whacked out. Going to pour some libations. Been pushed to even be more diligent with the libations. A lot of the things I do is rather new for me doing, on this platform, and so I kind of tiptoed around it. But man, I'm like coming to you live in 3D, so here it is. But it's important, man. I'm looking at the knowledge that I'm putting out, and this stuff I researched, I vetted, the information, the knowledge. And it's easy enough to do. I spoke one time before that, you put an hour in on most of this stuff, you can get right to the source and a reliable source at that. And for the most part, you can get right to some of the original writings, original text. Fortunately for us, there's some things that we study on a certain level where we can, there's still people alive that have a voice. But into that too, you still got to be careful, man, because these folks be lying, and I know that a lot of people find that amazing, but they lie, and that's all there is to it, and comfortably, and just you see your guy 45, that dude, man. Yeah, and I said, I'm not gonna wax political, but it's all one thing, man. Mankind, humanity, society, it's all one thing, and it's all about how you deal with that thing. And so, in dealing with this, particularly for the audience that I'm shooting for that cat that doesn't know the metaphysical, doesn't know the esoterical, and has maybe heard something in passing, but never had an opportunity to research and have things spoken to his life, if you will, about this. And that's who I'm looking for. If you've heard the stuff before, you've listened to some cats, and you've made a choice one way or another, that's cool. But there's some folks that hadn't had an opportunity to hear, and I'm still working out the different ways that I'm gonna get this message to them. It's like daily almost. I implement a different strategy, a new strategy, and eventually it's gonna, do what I am believing it's supposed to do. So, having said that, libation time. Really? Yeah, that's right up in here. the ancestors that have gone on, their spirit never dies, man. And so their spirit can be communicated with, and they're on a different plane, different dimension, however you want to call it, and they have an ability to afford to us information and knowledge that is not information and knowledge that we can get. And so it just, behooves you to make that connection. If you were involved with a sport or business or whatever it might be, and you are seeking to win, you're going to use all of the resources at your availability, and that's a resource that you can tap into, man. And I'm telling you, they waiting to help, and they come through, man, like champions, and more and more and more they do for me, and as I walk in that, it becomes just habitual, man. I expect what you might call the unexpected, or the layman might call the unexpected. I expect it. And when it doesn't come, now I'm like, hey, I'm surprised, and I'm chastising. I'm like, man, what's happening? What's up with this? Because once you know and understand it, that's just how it is. I use the light scenario about if you were to turn on the light and the light didn't come on, you wouldn't believe that there was no more electricity on the planet. No, you would start troubleshooting. Well, when you tap into this and have the experience of having the ancients move on your behalf, once you start getting into that, when it doesn't happen, that's when you ask questions now. It might have been before you asked questions when it did happen. It was the element of surprise. But now the norm is not that. The norm is that it happens, and so consequently it's abnormal when it doesn't happen. And I ask, man, what is going on? And also, you get wise and astute enough to realize it might be something else going on, and so it's to my advantage to be still, be quiet, meditate, ask, was there something I'm missing? There's something I need to learn, another path, and you do that, and then because sometimes that's what it is. It's all about, man, learning, moving, growing, getting mature in this thing, and then operating in it on the level that you know to operate. So we're gonna pour some libations. Let me pull up, and I'm gonna start pulling. I got just tons of notes and papers with different deities and whatnot that I've had the opportunity to study. And again, I want to start sharing some on them, because it's like anything. Once you know something and kind of practice it, if you will, or move in that, then it becomes more habitual, and you also more about, they like certain colors, certain foods, and, things like that. When I first heard that, I was like, oh, really? Of course. They're ancestors, When your mom was here, she didn't just eat one thing, and she didn't just drink one thing. She had a variety of things she didn't drink, and some things she liked more than others. Same thing with our ancestors and the deities that they have become, And so when you pay homage to them, you need to be sensitive to them and listen and realize what it is they want. Oh, and trust me, they don't mind throwing a few back. I be sitting out liquor on a regular, here, man, have a sip, and that's what's up, man, Because then you really feel that energy, and it's powerful, And I'm not saying that when you get them liquored up, that they're more apt to do something for you. But if liquor's their thing, matter of fact, there's a little thing that I learned to do. I'm gonna start doing that in the very near future with some liquor. But they're just you, man, and it's nothing. It's not deep. It's not there's the spookism. No, it just is what it is, right? And we weren't taught it, and we were actually taught against it, and we're actually taught the opposite of it. We were taught a negative thing about it. I don't quite know how to say it, but we were taught in a way where it was the hopes that we wouldn't endeavor to know more. They were trying to shine us away from it, and so we would avoid, moving in our power, moving in what is ours, because it's yours. It is yours to be used. And right now, today, we need it. We need it bad as a dead man need a coffin. And, I mean, we always need it, so it ain't so much right now, but, now there's things are speeding up. It's way more complex. Oh, pardon me. So, yeah, it's needed today. As far as I'm concerned, I need more. I know I need more on my plate, and so therefore I need more energy to cover everything what I'm doing. And it's that simple. It's not complicated. If you trying to fuel a car is one thing, but if you're trying to fuel a jet airplane, that's a whole nother thing. This is just the obvious, man. And so into that, when we start pouring libations and seeking power and whatnot, the more you take it on, the more you want to ask the spirits, help, man, so I can be successful. And I say all the time now, I don't want to just win. I want to. I'm gonna win big, and it ain't gonna be no fight. Let me find these. I'm gonna print these off, so I don't have to be combing through this like I do. But man, I'm not gonna trip on the small stuff. Cannot major in the minors, right? So I always like to start off with my moms, man. My Murder Low, I say, and William Fredericks, stepdad, I say. Dallas Williams, my real father, I say. Daddy Lenny, my grandmother, excuse me, I say. Avery Shawnee, my great-grandmother, I say. My Uncle Wayne, I say. Aunt Diana, I say. Cousin Dimitri, I say. Cousin Thaddeus, I say. Aunt Janice, I say. Uncle Edward, I say. Papa Legba, I say. Take your glasses off, I say. You can see the paper, I say. Okay, Balaam, I say. Beleth, I say. Zagan, I say. Paimon, I say. Person, I say. Lo Roda, I say. Lo Petro, I say. Oshun, I say. Ezil, I say. Shango, I say. All the spirits known and unknown, I say. All the ancestors known and unknown, I say. Your ancestors and your people, I say. There's difference true with the deities. Some of them come from different sects and whatnot. Some of them are older, some of them are younger. Some of them are kind of taxed. Some of them, man, they got a whole bunch of folk leaning on them. And then some of them are fresher. So it just makes sense sometimes to use fresh ones. And a lot of times when I'm off to myself and doing it, I'll call on deities that some energies that I've kind of brought in. And so it's just a beautiful thing, man, to have that afforded to you like that. Because this is what it's about. If you're going in to do anything, play a game, do a job, go to the park, go have a guitar at the park, whatever thing you want to do, man, you want to call in the energies, man. And particularly now with all the madness going on, this thing is being ramped up And so, you know, I get in that car or Lubis, I put him on the house and get watch it and let's go, you know. And I might spray a little of that rum on them tires or something like that, because I'm going to be protected. Like I tell you, man, the police, when I first started really getting into this, man, like everybody, police pull up behind me, I straighten up, you know, do my mental check. And, is there weed in the car? No, check. Is there any open liquor bottle in the car? No, check. Do I got my license? Yes, check. Do I got my registration? Yes, check. And I go through that whole trip, you know, and then the dude might go on and go around. But, you know, they quick to pull the fellow over. But I thought, man, this is straight madness, man. And so now, man, they pull up behind me. I tell them, get from behind me. Get from behind me. Because I'm that guy. And you're that girl and that guy. And that's what you walk in. But if you don't move on that, they lie to pull you over. Now you got to, you know, do a whole different trip. But this is our heritage, man. It's who we are, what we do. And into that, we need to walk in it. That's simple. So, yeah, everyday things, you know, small things and big things. Everything. Get up in the morning, man, I'm stretching and all. I just, I do my little salutations and whatnot, my little strut, you know, and I'm like, yes, I'm connected. And I wish, you know, I haven't been able to for a while get outside and put my feet in some dirt, man. I mean, once you start understanding this, that's just it, baby, for real. You put your feet in there and you just, you can. And there's times, listen, man, when you feel that energy, don't poo-poo it, man. Just sit there for a second and just let that thing charge through you and feel it, you know, acknowledge it and recognize it. A lot of times, you know, things be happening with us particularly when we're in the embryo stages, we don't even recognize it, man. And we like, thought I felt a little something, you know. Yeah, you felt a little something. And you work on it, it's going to turn into a big something. Put some water on it. That thing grow. So recognize this. Understand it. I said, there goes, you know, expect it. Expect it. When you go into your meditation and whatever you do, man, do it with expectation. Do it with expectation. And when it don't happen, be questioning, man. Well, what? Because I understood that this, and I was looking for it and expecting this, and you know, and put that out there like that. And let's get some straightening with this, you know, and it'll get straight. Because man, let me tell you, there's no running out of energy and power. You can keep tapping and zapping and getting it and all. So that's not gonna happen. Get the energy. It's what we can do, so it's what we should do, and man, I'm telling you, it'll change everything. It will change everything, boy. I tell you, I done sat there sometimes and just got and it run. Oh shoot, you know, you just feel that, and it was what's really weird when I was again involved in, you know, the church and whatnot. I used to get the little shakes like that. Now I always moved in the supernatural and the metaphysical and whatnot, but didn't realize what it was. But I was having these experiences, man, and I would be, you know, fasting and praying. I'd be sitting there to, you know, breaking a fast, a 3-4 day or 7 day or whatever, and all of a sudden I would feel it, you know, and my body would do this. Well, I come to learn that was where the Quakers got their name from quaking when under the power of this spirit, you know. And I said, really, you know, so that was interesting, man, and so I understood, I could relate. Also into that, when I was dealing with a lot of legal whatnot and different just learning experiences, I would always lean to the spirit to have an understanding of things. I would lean to the spirit to know what was true. And that's kind of what I want to talk on we listen to a lot of stuff, man, and we take it as fact when it's not fact, it's not true. And I'm gonna give you a perfect example. But first, I'm gonna give you a little story. You know, we look at the story when we was youngsters. You know, I don't know if you did, but when we was youngsters, we were in school, and the teacher did a little trip where it was about maybe 24, 25 of us around in a circle, and then the one would lean over and he would start it. You know, green trees only grow when blah blah blah, or whatever it might be. You saying, and then the next person would turn and whisper to the next person, and then it would go all the way around the circle. Well, by the time it got back over here at the end of the circle, it was like, who said what? You know, it was a whole totally different thing. And we would be looking, especially the person that first got the message, and from the person that first got the message, number one, as it went around the circle to number 24, it was a whole different story. And so now here's the point. If you're looking at this as truth or as whatever, when it started off, it was truth. It was what it was. But when it got all the way around, man, it had been changed, call it manipulated or whatever. Well, understand, if you got people that are with purpose and intent trying to change the narrative, then if it would have started at number one, by the time it got to 24, it would have been something so science fictionish till it would have, you couldn't even have believed that it started from number one. Because even without trying to cause it to diminish or increase or what have you, without trying to, we went from 1 to 24, and it was totally different, a strange story. And so imagine what happens if you have somebody that is purposely, with intent, trying to manipulate or change or create a narrative. And that's what has been happening for thousands of years. And they tell you this, man. You got different countries taking over countries and all. They got a saying that says the person who wins the war writes the history. And that's what happened. And look at America, man. They got people saying, well, no, slavery wasn't that bad. Oh, really? They got books, man, trying to say, no, the blacks like slavery. And I'm like, wow, man. So we need to know and understand that. You have to know and understand that people are on purpose trying to deceive you, that people are setting out with the intent to mislead you and ill-inform you and miseducate you on purpose. Because if you don't, then you're subject to every whim of nature, man. And you'll be believing Mary had a little lamb and its fleece was white as snow, and everywhere that Mary went, the lamb was sure to go. On Christmas, the lamb went to meet Santa Claus. And you think, well, yeah, you know, but you know, you can't just like, well, yeah, you can. You have to vet everything. You have to make, you know, I kind of look at it today, you know, when you hear about folks getting ready to date and whatnot, and little, you know, you meet and you're okay, well, you can live, we're going to do something this weekend or something, or maybe, you know, blah, 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 what have you. And the first thing a cat do, they go over there and pick up say, yeah, I'm going to learn who this cat is, because I'm not finna go out with Jack the Ripper again. Because you know what? If you take and look at some of these people's stuff, man, you know, and I look at, well, I'll be watching it, and they be talking about, yeah, well, you know, so-and-so did whatever crime he did, and they go to dude's Facebook page and all, and then they're all shocked, you know, he was on the Facebook page, and, you know, and I'm like, you know, and the information's right there. Information's out there. This is the information age, man. That's what they call it. So you need to be vetting this stuff. So the cat getting ready to go on a date, you know, and he called baby up and said, well, you know, what time do you want to pick up? Well, you know what? About that date, look here, pal. We might need to, because my mom's calling. I got to go, you know, But I'm not finna go on no date with you, Jack. I don't see who you are, man. You know, you got a record, too. You got a record that you just got a hard on a woman, you know, or hard on a, I don't want to get too, but anyway, you know, it's important that we do that, particularly now. And so now here's the example I told you I was going to give you. A couple days back, anyway, a couple days back, Ice Cube situation came up. Now, I'm not finna speak either way on none of it, because that's not my reason for using the example. My reason for using the example is that some people over here said, well, he said this and did this, and some people said he said this and did this, so then he had to come forward and say, well, this is what I said and what I did, and after he came forward and said, this is what I said and what I did, they still got the story wrong. But then the story started going back around, well, no, well, Ice Cube said that this is what happened and this is what he did. And people, I was listening to the different news stations and outlets and whatnot, and I'm like, well, did you listen to dude? Because that ain't what he said. And they be, oh no, see what he said. Well, no, that's I heard it. I heard it for real. It was so no, that ain't what he said. So I'm realizing, man, that if you are not being diligent about your due diligence, you're being misled. I spoke on yesterday that if you're not filtering everything you get, then you're being brainwashed. And so you need to get this. The stuff I be saying is for me. When I first started this, I'm telling you, like I woke up in the middle of the night. I'm like, what is that? So I'm not a novice to spiritual thing. Spirit want to talk to me or warn me, but there's finna be some higher level interaction. So I'm checking it out, listening to it all, and this goes on for a while because I'm hearing something that ain't quite there. And I understand, for the most part, they don't communicate in English. And hey, how you doing, kid? I was wondering if you weren't busy about 1 o'clock. If I could get you, that ain't how. And symbols and repetition when we are learning and trying to communicate to them. So for a few nights, I was like, yeah, okay, well, I don't know why you waking me up, but I hear you talking about talk and this, that, and that. And I don't know what you're saying, but okay. But I'm gonna get at that first thing in the morning. Holler at me when I'm a little more woke, okay? So it kept going on. It got to the point, man, no, you finna listen to this. And I realized, I said, man, I need you to start speaking on this. Now listen, man, I didn't want to start speaking on nothing. For real. And one of my main reasons, I hear some cats that speak on this stuff. Man, they got some skilled laborers, man, for real. I'm talking about skills, some dudes that I listen to help bring me around. I'm talking about, listen, I call one cat that really brought me around, you talk about God. This dude is God. This dude is, man, I listen to his stuff daily. And when I listen to it, it's always growing. I can listen to his stuff. I can listen to the same tape over and over and over and over. And it's always educational for me. That's spirit. That's spirit. And so when I was getting this message, I said, man, listen, I could help put old boy stuff back out or something. Maybe we could. I'm trying to barter, man, because I'm not trying to do this, man. I want to sit up. And then when I started getting ready, it took me months. I had to learn about cameras and all. And folks, after I learned about cameras and bought me some decent little cameras, they said, well, no, you just hold the phone up, man. That's how they doing this, man. I'm like, oh, really? I'm old school when it comes to that. So we talking new generation. And I got a nice camera. I got a nice phone. And so I realized all that little extra stuff I went through, I could have been doing it on the phone. Okay, well, I understand too again still that the spirit wanted something else. And so there's something more on that. The spirit is real cold when it comes to them kind of move. He'll set you to go up in at this level, and then you think that you overkilled him. Before you know it, you ain't really got quite enough, because he said he wanted you to go in at this level A, but he really wants you up here at level C and climbing that, and C being the escalation up. And so now you realize, okay, well, I'm glad you gave me this extra stuff. because without it, I wouldn't have made it. But the problem is that if we're not vetting this information that we're getting, you're in trouble, man. You're in trouble. You know, they tell you stuff, and here's oh man, watch this word here, theory. So and so's theory. But these cats say that like it's law, like it's etched in concrete somewhere. You and your dude had a theory about that. Really, what was his theory? Well, he believed that that the moon was made out of this blue cheese, and I'm like, what? But when they present that stuff, well, who was it? Ford, I think, that said if you tell a lie long enough, after a while, people believe it. And these cats are telling lies, man. They're telling lies, and people believe it. And this stuff is propped up with next to nothing, man. And what's interesting, I tell baby all the time, I said, look, boys, don't even trip, because it's going to get real good when they start having in runs, you know, battling amongst themselves. That's when it's going to get good. Because, you know, all my people was, well, what we going to do? You know, they got all the guns, and so we're going to come in, and this is going to be us against them and the army and the government, you know, and all the little retarded kids. Don't even trip. Don't even trip. To start with, man, particularly the folks that are consider themselves conscious, then you know, man, that there's something higher and bigger than all of that, man. All of that. So ain't no need to trip. But what you do need to do is stop eating out of that trough, man. The cats over there like little, you know, I'm like, man, get out of the trough, man. Get out of the trough. You're gonna have a tummy ache eating all that shit, you know? And then what you do get verified, man. You know, it was a time, man, you know, that when folks would say something, you could pretty much take it to the bank. Well, that time is gone. That time is gone. Folks will do anything. I remember back then my brother used to say, yeah, promise him the elevator and give him the shaft. The DP, rest in peace, man. Let me pour my guy some. I ain't pouring. Ah, man. My brother was a beautiful soul, man. A beautiful soul. And I think about him often. Dwayne Ashe. But he had all the things, man. Live fast, die young, leave a good-looking corpse. I'm like, okay, you know, yeah. Promise him the elevator, give him the shaft. That's what's happening today. Man, there's no integrity, no morals, no scruples, no nothing. And in short fashion, they brought us to this point. Short fashion. But it's all by design. Ain't nothing like out of control. But it's an amazing thing to look at and see. They have built this thing on lies, and they depend on you not vetting the information. I'm looking at some of this stuff going out there now. They got these people coming up and say, "Hey man, you know what Cat's saying ain't quite." Because you know, and you got these doctors and whatnot talking about, no, man, I don't know where they getting their information, you know. And then what's really cold, you look at it, it's like a whole bunch of people in on this, you know what I'm saying? But again, I'm not finna wax all political, but listen, you gotta vet your information, and you gotta do your due diligence, and you have to know. You have to know. The best way to know is listen to your spirit, listen to your soul, man. Because it's on a different plane. It's in a different dimension. And where it is, it can handle getting some truth. It's going to cut through the BS. It's going to cut through the BS and bring you the unadulterated, uncut version. And that's what we need. So in doing that, listen, understand that when you're dealing, particularly when you start dealing with the ancients and stuff like that, you know, the ancient writing, the hieroglyphics and the you know, the sacred writings and just all of that, they they work from a whole different page, and the page they work from is that they they have proof. You know, they got old writings and stones and uh, pirate, what do you call the paper rolled up them, so that you can go and get this stuff and read it. Now, there's also the possibility that what you got, even though it's old, could have been manipulated. But for the most part, when it's older, there's other ways to kind of vet it against each other. So you got a little piece of something here and a little piece of something here, and they got to kind of match up. Or else, you know, nah, this ain't right. And there's a couple things in particular that amaze me that people begin to try to take that as truth, because it just don't work. It's not, definitely can't be authentic. And I recall, you know, when I was studying, I would come across things and read it, and I would be like, that made no sense. That can't be possible. So then when you got to believe by faith and by faith. So, okay. So first few times, you know, faith, faith. And then second, after a while, you can count more of the things that you don't believe or don't make sense than the things that you believe and do make sense. So now, I mean, no. I need some answers. Somebody had to talk to me, because this is just out of control. Well, see, what happened was when they started embracing Christianity at that time, the pagans had their holidays, and so in order for them to kind of appease the pagans, we'll just take on all of their holidays, and then we'll just blend it all together. I'm like, oh, okay. And I mean, all through it, particularly the word, and there's a book out where dude shows the man, there's a couple. One where he shows the the pagan holiday blended in and all that, which was interesting. And there's a movie out even. I'm gonna get the name of that joint. Can't think of it right now. But when you see that, you be like, oh. And the coldest part about it all, you say, no, that makes sense. That makes sense. Because I was reading it, man. I'm telling you, I was a student of it, man. I was studying. They said, well, you know, on third day rose again. It was on a Friday that so Friday went down. He done, and Saturday is one, Sunday is two, and I don't know, that don't work, pal. Well, simple things like that wasn't working. I was like, Houston, we got a problem. We got a problem. So then I started looking at other things that's really working. So then I got an understanding about how to read it and what it really meant. And it just all came together like it just came together. I got saying on the street is kind of different. But anyway, so I could work with that then. And then my whole spiritual thing just blew up, man. And I was doing some heavy spiritual stuff before that, but when that happened, it was showtime. Showtime out there, Apollo, for sure. So vet this information, man. As much as you can, get some anthropological or some archaeological based stuff. What's the dude, Anthony Browder? They be doing the digs over in Africa, and man, it takes him to tell you about it. He been over there and seen, and actually they got a dig going. First black group to do a dig, and he's over there doing that. But he gets to talking about that stuff, and you be like, wow. And I mean, and this, because it's really not that far back, it's all documentable, you know, through different historians, you know, real historians, not just the bobbleheads of that time, but real historians. So man, vet your information, know what's what. Because, like they say, all money ain't good money. If they telling you something, and especially today, I started this off talking about when we youngsters in the class. That was 10 minutes of history, and it was all messed up. You know what I'm saying? So now you're talking about even a year. I look at some of the stuff they be saying. And I'm gonna give you another. I'm gonna spin on that. Um, Ice Cube thing when he went on the I think it was Como show. Como came out and said, yeah, we want to talk tonight. Ice Cube's here, and we're gonna tell us about how he helped President Trump write the Platinum Plan and blah blah. So Ice Cube comes on and says, "Time out, pal. Pump your brakes. I never said that I helped him write the Platinum Plan. Never said that." Oh, okay. And, come on, found reverse and hurry up and went there. My point is that, how quickly it can be miscued or derailed. And therein lies the work of us to put that stuff right back on track, no matter how old it is. If you have the truth with receipts, if you got some scholars, some scripture to go with it, then you need to put that there. But you definitely need some kind of verification, and it's easy enough to do. Bottom line is we still far removed from a lot of things, but we can get up in there. So I thank you for the time. Hope you ate. We got a little something, and I'm gonna see you tomorrow with some same back time, same back station with some more information. I'm Chaos963, and we'll do it later on. I thank you for your time, and talk to you.